Hello and welcome back to Are We There Yet? Season 3, Episode 10. It's going to be the final episode of Season 3. And we've got a lot to catch you up on. As you can see, if I just get the table up properly. So, the season is over. We finished with 70 points, 3 losses, 20 wins, 10 draws. Pretty happy with that. We've set quite a few... we've set one record. We've set the record for the highest average attendance for a season. I can't quite remember what that one is. Records. Highest average, there you go. 3,595 was our average attendance for the season. We'll also just run through these awards quickly because we've got quite a few present. So Jonathan Flatt there was second. Not quite sure. He's obviously conceded more goals than Cork City's. I saw something on Facebook last night with a guy saying how to pronounce Irish names, and I thought this will be bloody handy. And I've already forgotten how to pronounce that, so I'm just going to leave it alone because he looked a little bit annoyed that people were getting them all wrong. And we'll also check the Golden Boot. So Chris Fagan there finished third with 15 goals behind Aaron Dobbs and David O'Sullivan. Player of the month, so Cameron Burgess, Chris Fagan and Sean Gannon. That was for the month of October, so we featured all three. We also got manager of the month for that one. We also take out manager of the year by a pretty big margin, and then see Stuart Ashton there also had a pretty big margin over Pat Devlin. We also have Graham Carey, who's the Irish Premier Division Player of the Year. I'm not quite sure how that Irish League of Ireland. Yeah, I don't know how that's gone on there. Team of the Year, we had a few in there. So we've got Cameron Burgess, Stephen O'Connor, Sean Gannon, and Graham Carey. So 4 of the 11, which is pretty good going. Young Player of the Year, Terry Ambrose came third. So I think we did pretty well as far as awards go. Update on the job situation if we just go into the job screen. So Viking, we had the interview for. This is everything on load. There we go. Yeah, so Viking, we had the interview. We didn't get it. Henningberg beat us out for Viking. Some of you may know Henningberg, some may not. We also interviewed for the Sport Recife job in Brazil. I didn't get that one. I also interviewed for HB, I'm going to say Koj in Denmark. Didn't get that one. I've also interviewed for this team here, MSK Zelina. I'll work out the proper pronunciation later. You can also see I've applied for a few others. QPR and Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, they're not doing very well as far as the league goes, but it's still early days, and I've only played 16 games. I don't know if I take either one of those because it seems just a little bit easy, perhaps, to jump that far up the standings. Scunthorpe possibly would be a better one should we go to England, but you can see there's also a few more up here. So Karpaty in Ukraine, Jabrovka, yep, the Czech Republic, Kalmar in Sweden, who I think are about to go down to the Superettan. You can see there that they finished on 24 points. Halmstads was the other one. They're also going down. But when I looked at the season preview, Kalmar was supposed to be mid-table, and they've gone down. So what that will do is you can almost guarantee the better players are going to hand in their transfer notices the minute you walk through the door. So that might present a little bit of a challenge or an opportunity. As far as what else is available at the moment, I'm really not that interested. There's Fremad here, semi-pro team who are mid-table in basically the second division. You've got the Superliga as obviously number 1 there, and then first division championship, whatever, if you want to compare it to the UK. I know a lot, so that's where my sort of main expertise, I suppose, is based around. And I'm already falling over my words. I had this all written down so I could be a lot smoother, but it hasn't worked out very well. As far as other jobs, there are a few that are under review or very insecure that I would be quite sort of interested in. One of which being Stromgudset. So they're 10th in the Norwegian Premier League. Mold was up for a while, and I thought about declaring interest, but they've obviously picked their form up and they're now back in the top 3. Sondejijk, I think, I'm sorry about the pronunciation, in the Danish Premier Division. That would be something else I'd be quite interested in. And both the Swiss jobs, although Sion we're not going to get, being 3.5 star, I think 3-star there for St. Gallen would be a bit of a stretch. Possibly Turkey, Alanyaspor, that might be quite interesting. But at the same time, I'm just going to wait and see. To be honest, there's a few down here that are insecure that would be of interest. Somewhere like Serbia, Austria, we'll see. Even Frankfurt there in the second German second division, or the 2 Bundesliga, that would be quite interesting as well. I'm actually just going to go back to this because I forgot to show you something, although it's kind of been summed up. So Fagan there, obviously 3rd. Average rating, 123, which is pretty bloody cool. Assists, Graham Carey, Thierry Ambrose. We had somebody in the player of the match, but I can't remember who it was, and they've since disappeared. You can also see that Waterford United have been relegated. Lost out to Derry there in the relegation playoff in a 7-2 thrashing on aggregate. So that leaves us with the final of the FAI Ford Cup. Almost had that. Once again, we're playing St. Pat's Athletic, which actually bugs me because this will be like the 4th time I've played them very, very recently. And obviously, they've already beaten us in a cup final once. And I'm going to be highly pissed off should they beat us again. But that's really about all there is going to be for today as far as news goes. The club did propose contract talks once again. I declined once again because, I don't know, I would like to get out of here, but at the same time, I would like the opportunity to have another go at the Champions League. So at this point in time, my mind isn't entirely made up. And Jamie Lindsay's actually come in and played much better, so Josh Sheehan will come back in today, probably for Lund, who hasn't really done very much. I'm not going to mess around too much here because we don't need to, basically. Where's Honeyman? He's playing alright, but McElhinney's done alright himself. I don't think there's many other changes I can make. My wingers are struggling. There's a couple of names in here. There's our new right winger, Maxi Rollion, 23-year-old from Argentina. Initially, well, he spent a lot of time there with the Barcelona setup, but he popped up as a free agent, brought him in on trial, and his physicals mostly, he's so fast, and some of his mentals aren't too bad. Determination's lacking, as is his positioning, but he's reasonably well-rounded, and the right wing is something that we have struggled with, and I might actually play him today for funsies, you know, despite the fact I do want to win this. Do we play him straight away? Set Ambrose. If I put him on the left, would he be an inside forward? Not really, so we'll put him back. I don't know. Maybe we'll leave him on the bench. We'll see how things go. We'll let Ambrose carry on. And that's enough chatting about that. What number do we want to give him? You give me number 30. Sort of played with the idea of coming back for a 3rd season. I think it's 3. Just to have another crack at the Champions League. My problem with that is that the Champions League starts so far after the season starts. You know, our season gets underway very early on in the calendar year, and then the Champions League doesn't come around until about July. And by that point, we're most definitely at least halfway through the season. The whole team is aware of what's expected of them. I will not lose to St. Pat's again, basically. Can I tell them revenge? No, I can't. I don't think we're even at home. Assertive, carry straight on, I think. I think all those other times I've tried to put the pressure on them, they haven't really done it. So we're just going to leave that as it is for now. A pretty strong lineup out there. And let's hope we can get this done. So yeah, the Champions League is about 6 months after the season starts, and that it's just going to drag it. I don't want to do 10 episodes per season. That, in my opinion, is way too many. And I'd like to maybe keep it around 8, perhaps, if that's at all possible. And I don't really know how to cut it down, because what it would then mean is that I would record more highlights. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of just thinking out loud here. Yes, I would like to move on. St. Pat's with their first highlight of the game. Don't score straight away. Don't you dare. Gone wide. I thought that had gone in for a second. Another slow start for us, despite being on control. Perhaps we just go attacking. Although they're attacking. I don't know. I just want to win the bloody cup. We haven't won it. We lost out last year to a lower league side. Maybe this team just isn't made for the big stage. Carey tucks that one in. Ambrose hits the post. And St. Pat's are going to clear that away. It's going to go down as a clear-cut chance. I don't think the cross was the best from Carey, which is actually quite odd to say because he's been absolutely magnificent. Now, he's one of the other reasons I would like to sort of stay to see what happens if he goes. We've definitely got suitable replacements. I think Curtis Hanley's shown a lot of talent already, and they keep telling me that he's got plenty of potential. We've got two other left wingers that could, quite easily become, maybe not superstars, but could become very solid players. I mean, Hanley's already valued at 120,000, and he's still 17 years old. So that in itself is a pretty big deal, and sort of very exciting because he's progressing rapidly. As is Halkadal. Then we've got Rice, we've got Burgess. There's a lot of young talent that have plenty of time to. Graham Carey's there for the tap-in, and that's 1-0. Early 1-0 lead. We're only 20 minutes in, so we'll just encourage them. We haven't done very much at all. Maybe we've been more clinical. 50% conversion rate. I don't know. Yeah, so there's a lot of young talent that I've brought in. I'd like to see how they progress. There's also a few older names around. Matty Lund, Chris Fagan, Gannon and Massey, who I think are plenty old enough to hold down the fort. But like I said, I'm getting a little bit bored of playing the same teams. We play each team 4 times, and that's just league fixtures. Doesn't take into consideration the 3 or 4 cups you play throughout the year. Oh, that was dodgy. Thankfully, it was just a missed tackle, and not a red card, because that would not be an ideal situation. St. Pat's are definitely outplaying us again so far. Donald's through. He's put that wide again. I don't know what to tell them. I don't really want to drop to standard. I'd like to just dominate the match as we've done through most of the league. Alright. O'Connor gets his head to that one. Falls to Coventry, plays over to Molyneux. Push them back. Go on. Let's go in up. Let's go into halftime up 2-0. That'd be very nice. Burgess plays a long ball. Carey's going to get there first. Is there anybody in the box? Fagan, there you go. 2-0. Thank you very much. That's exactly what we were looking for. I think he's still getting excited about Fagan scoring against his old club. He's only been here for a couple of seasons. Alcadal's not done a whole lot today, which is disappointing. It's 3 yellow cards as well. And Graham Carey's injured. Yay! Foot injury. Is that going to be like Michael? Didn't Michael Duffy get injured on the last day of the season last year? And he was out for like 7 months? I think that's what happened. I don't remember. I know he was out for about 7 months with an injury, but I don't know if it was. Keep focused. Thank you very much. I didn't want them getting all stressed out. Duffy. I know I don't know. It might have been the last game of the season. Either way, he went out very, very late for a long, long time. And that injury may have just kept Graham Carey at the club. I think Bolton are still the only ones that are even showing any interest, and even then it's minor interest. Second half, let's get on with it. Did I put Honeyman on the bench? No, I didn't. McElhenney will come in for Halkadal, I think, later on, because he's not doing much at all, despite being the man. In my opinion, someone I'm very, very excited about watching progress, and somebody I may pick as a manager profile later on. Maybe we're obviously not going to get the caps and that sort of thing correct, because that never happens, but we can sort of see where he ends up. Should he be international or just professional level? Maybe we can work on a save from there, because what I'd like to do, whether it be on this game, will more likely be FM18, is just to continue a save with one database. Instead of restarting every time and sort of, there you go, Alcadal makes it 3-0, a beautiful finish. But 7 goals in the season, and he didn't really start scoring until quite late on, so he's done really well in the time that he has been playing. And now he's not going to come off. I think Lindsay might actually. Been on a yellow. Ambrose is also playing fantastically, so he's not going to come off. Kane is looking complacent, and that, in my opinion, is far more dangerous. What actually is it? When you really... I don't know. Yeah, so I'd like to... I always do this, don't I? I start a thought, and then I get distracted by the game, and then I come back to it. So yeah, instead of starting a new save, well, a new database with every save, because then you end up basically seeing the same players all the time. It's to just continue. So say a manager gets fired or sacked, or I just want to start again. We create a new profile with one of our regens, or just a player that I've grown fond of, or somebody else maybe in the comments has grown fond of. If it ever comes to that, and we can just carry on, because the game's not about the real players, in my opinion. When I have watched people's saves earlier, before I started this channel, it was never about signing all the people that I watched play in real life. It was about the scouting and the growth, growing talent. It could be regens, it could be Ambrose is going to make it 4. Oh wow, that is a demolition today. Very, very nice. Yeah, so it's about the scouting, and it's about finding players from wherever they may be from. It's definitely not, well, for me, essentially, it's definitely never been about... I'm going to bring Roland on. I don't know who for, though. Maybe I'm not. We'll just bang Rice in there, eh? Kind of starting to look a bit dead. So is Kane, Lindsay, I mean. So yeah, maybe that's always something I've wanted to do and never actually done, because I've just started new database with the saves. And let's be honest, while there's not very many people watching, it doesn't matter anyway, does it? I can just do that for myself. I think it keeps it fresh. You're not going out and signing the same. Every save isn't going out and signing the same 5 or 6 people. I'd like to find my own Wonder Kids. As Kevin, he pulls on back. Speaking of Wonder Kids, he looks like he might just be one. Oh, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? I really struggled to get that out. So, it looks like we may have finally won a domestic trophy that isn't just a community shield. I'll add that one to my honors list. I'm going to update the graphics at the start and the intro there. I'm going to basically overhaul that whole thing before the next season begins. Congratulations, boys! That means we've done the treble. Will that improve my... do the double? Let's just have a look at that one. 1 top league and cup comp. There you go. If that doesn't improve the reputation, I'm gonna be so sad. So it's a treble. Kerry's gonna be out for... oh my... oh, poor Graham. I think it's gonna ruin his chances of leaving. Bang. No one's interested. And that also saves me from having to give him another contract. Whether he's gonna be the same, because Duffy wasn't the same. After Duffy got injured... oh man. Because Duffy disappeared. I don't think I've even played him at all this season. Where is he? Duffy. Michael Duffy. 2 appearances and 1 sub appearance. For 1,400 a week. Jeez. I mean, he's on the transfer list. Wow. That's a waste of money. Last season you were in touching distance. It feels brilliant. The performance was fantastic. There's nobody can stand in our way. Magnificent achievement. The squad are capable of taking over Ireland, in my opinion. Bethlehem Steel, they received £2,000. We get 44,000. The board, they must be absolutely enamored. I like that word. Yeah, expected to win. Ambrose, you're the boss. He's done so well out in the wing there. Why we ever tried him? Oh look, we paid out more money for winning it than we did for winning it. Oh wow. Graham Carey is the leading assist man. Has it improved the reputation? Nope. That'll sum up today's episode. Basically, you're gonna have to wait and see what happens. There's still got about a month on the contract. I should have looked. We've been on the screen about 3 times. So we've just over a month, almost 2 months on the contract there. We may be in Dundalk at the start of the next season. We may not. I suppose you'll find out when that releases. So as always, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, please check back in for season 4 and have yourselves a great day. Thanks. Bye.